All right, deep divers, are you ready for this? The energy in the Imperial Arena today is palpable. It all comes down to this day 3 of the Fas Tournament.
And it's not just any arena. We're talking about a magical coliseum designed specifically to challenge competitors in every way imaginable, from unpredictable terrains to mind-bending conditions.
It's like they took everything exciting about magical combat and cranked it up to 11.
Exactly. It truly tests their adaptability, their strategic thinking, and of course their raw power.
Speaking of which, we've been following 4 incredible competitors throughout this tournament, each one bringing their own unique skills and motivations to the arena. Let's see, we have Hammam,
The middle-aged orc magician who relies more on brute strength and clever spell combinations than refined technique.
Then there's Jonh, a tactical genius and aspiring greatest spellcaster in the world.
Don't forget Rada, the resourceful, half-dead, half-living boy whose determination is as inspiring as it is unnerving.
And of course, Eyas, the changeling illusionist with dreams of becoming the world's greatest sleight-of-hand artist.
Each of them has fought their way to this point, overcoming incredible challenges and facing off against some truly formidable opponents.
But only 8 can emerge as champions. So let's break down how this final day works.
All right, so each competitor will face a maximum of 3 matches today. 2 wins guarantee a spot in the championship.
But 2 losses.
2 losses mean elimination.
The stakes couldn't be higher. Expert speaker, can you guide us through this magical mayhem? Where do we begin?
Let's start with Hammam. His first match was against Sahar. And get this, the condition was only verbal spells, no physical contact whatsoever.
Wait, no punching, kicking, or wrestling?
Yeah.
For an orc, that's practically unheard of. How's Hammam supposed to handle that?
It definitely put his resourcefulness to the test. And to make things even more interesting, the environment they were battling in alternated between blinding light and total darkness every 15 seconds.
Talk about a sensory overload.
Go.
So this Sahar must be pretty confident in her abilities to choose a condition like that.
Well, she specializes in mind control magic, which is even more potent in a chaotic environment like that. And she almost had Hammam beat, too.
Really? How did that happen?
She managed to cast mind domination on him, compelling him to walk right out of the arena.
So close. How did he break free? Was it some incredible display of willpower?
Not quite. It was actually his wife.
His wife. What?
It seems she wasn't too pleased with his performance. She started yelling from the stands. And let's just say her accusations were colorful. The shock of it all snapped Hammam out of the spell.
Seriously. He countered mind control with spousal disapproval. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Can't make this stuff up. So what happened next?
Hammam, now free from Sahar's control, quickly turned the tables. He used his gravity well spell not to attack directly, but to disrupt Sahar's concentration. Imagine an orc using his own weight to win a magic duel.
That's brilliant. He used his size to his advantage in a completely unexpected way. I guess you don't get to be middle-aged in a tournament like this without learning a few tricks.
Exactly. Sahar, completely thrown off balance, couldn't regain control of the situation. Hammam finished the match with a final gravitational attack, securing his first victory.
Victory by spousal disapproval. Who knew? Talk about an unconventional strategy. But his next match couldn't have been easy, right?
Not at all. He went up against Mesa, who's known for her incredible strength. This time, the condition was only magical attacks, no physical weapons.
So Hammam's brawn is essentially useless in this one.
Precisely. And to make matters worse, the environment was a fiery terrain with unpredictable bursts of flame. Mesa, who relies heavily on strength-enhancing magic, was completely out of her element.
But Hammam thrives in chaos, doesn't he? What kind of spell did he conjure up this time?
Well, he cleverly exploited a loophole in the rules and used Shadow Blade.
Ah, that spell that creates a magical weapon. So he found a way to use a weapon without technically breaking the rules. Clever. So 2 for 2 for Hammam.
Well, not exactly. Mesa, frustrated and unable to overpower him, snapped. She completely disregarded the rules and attacked him with her enchanted axe.
Wait, so she cheated?
It was a blatant violation and she was immediately disqualified. But here's the thing, even though it was an illegal attack, Hammam somehow survived.
Wow, talk about a close call. It seems like Hammam's got more than just luck on his side. So technically, he won both his matches, but his victory against Mesa was eventful, to say the least.
Definitely a match for the highlight reel. All right, ready to move on to Jonh. His day 3 started with a duel against Sahara.
Ah, Jonh, the master strategist. What kind of challenge did he face?
A rather unique one. The condition was that stepping into the center of the arena would result in immediate disqualification. They were battling on a simple field divided by a glowing red boundary.
That sounds like a test of patience and control. Sahara wouldn't make it easy for him, would she?
Not at all. She's known for her powerful fire magic, and she launched a barrage of attacks trying to force Jonh into the center.
But John's not one to be easily rattled. He's always thinking several steps ahead.
Exactly. He strategically cast Absorb Elements, absorbing Sahara's fire attacks and mitigating the damage.
So he was using her own magic against her.
That's brilliant. He's a master of turning defense into offense. Sahara, who's used to overwhelming her opponents with raw power, had depleted most of her mana reserves by the time the smoke cleared.
And Jonh, ever the opportunist, saw his chance, right?
Precisely. He capitalized on her exhaustion, securing his victory with a well-timed counterattack.
Classic Jonh, outsmarting his opponent every step of the way. So did he bring those same tactics to his second match?
His opponent was Anglis, the leader of the Shadow Club. She's infamous for her mastery of illusions.
The Shadow Club definitely lives up to their name. What was the arena like?
Picture this, a tiny, dimly lit platform surrounded by water. Stepping out of bounds meant instant disqualification.
Yikes. That sounds intense. How did Jonh handle Anglis's illusions?
He had to stay grounded, both literally and figuratively. Anglis tried to disorient him with illusions, even attempting to increase her weight midair to crush him.
Hold on, she tried to...
Oh.
That sounds terrifying.
It was a bold move, but Jonh was prepared. He countered her weight manipulation with Feather Fall, rendering her attack useless, and then used a gust of wind magic to push her right off the platform.
Wow, he used her own momentum against her. He really is something else. 2 wins for Jonh, and both achieved through sheer wit and strategy. Now what about Rada? He's had quite a journey in this tournament.
His day 3 was a roller coaster of emotions, to say the least. His first match was against Atika, another member of the Shadow Club.
It seems like the Shadow Club is really giving our heroes a run for their money. What kind of challenge did Atika present?
This match was all about stealth and precision. The condition? Absolute silence. Any sound at all would result in disqualification.
Talk about pressure. What was the environment like?
They were in a water-filled arena where falling in meant defeat. Atika, a master of silent combat, was in her element.
So it was a tough match for Rada.
It was. She deflected his crossbow bolts with ease and then used kinetic push to send him plunging into the water. It was a swift and decisive victory for Atika.
Oh no, so a loss for Rada.
Unfortunately, yes. But remember, he still had one more chance to prove himself.
Let's hope he learned from that experience. What happened in his next match?
He faced God, and the condition was to survive a series of deadly traps while fighting each other.
That sounds like something straight out of an adventure novel. Where did they even find the space for that in the arena?
The Imperial Arena is full of surprises. They were battling in a web-filled cave, and to make things even more challenging, there was a giant spider thrown into the mix.
You're kidding? A giant spider? This tournament just keeps getting wilder.
It was chaos down there. But here's where things get interesting. Unbeknownst to Gut, Rada's friends were secretly helping him from the stands.
Wait, hold on. You mean they were cheating?
It seems they got a bit carried away with their support, using subtle magic to give him an advantage. Gut, who relied on his wit and a collection of magical gadgets to navigate the traps, eventually discovered the interference.
Oh no, that's not good. Was Rada disqualified?
This is where Gut's character truly shines. He presented evidence of the cheating to the judges, but chose to let Rada proceed.
Seriously? He didn't demand Rada's elimination. That's incredibly honorable of him.
It was a true display of sportsmanship and respect for his opponent. So Rada moved on to his final match, facing Kara in a desert filled with quicksand.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster. How did that duel play out?
It was a battle of the elements. Kara, wielding powerful elemental magic, conjured a sandstorm, attempting to overwhelm Rada.
Did Rada manage to stay on his feet?
He did more than that. He used his necromantic magic to summon minions and turned the sandstorm against Kara, using her own magic to his advantage.
Now that's what I call thinking on your feet. What happened to Kara?
Exhausted and unable to maintain her spells, she lost her footing and fell victim to the quicksand. Rada emerged victorious, securing his place among the champions.
What a comeback. From a crushing defeat to a stunning victory, Rada's definitely proved he's a force to be reckoned with. All right, we've covered 3 of our heroes. Let's talk about Eyas, the changeling illusionist. His first match was against another changeling named Nard, right?
That's right. And the condition for their duel was that they had to maintain a distance of 30 feet at all times. Getting closer meant disqualification.
Interesting. So it was more of a mental and strategic battle than a physical one.
Exactly. The environment was a misty forest with low visibility, which added another layer of complexity. Unfortunately for Nard, she suffered from terrible stage fright.
Oh no, poor Nard. Being in the arena must be incredibly nerve-wracking.
The pressure was too much for her. She ended up forfeiting the match.
Did Eyas try to comfort her at all? It must be tough going up against someone who understands your abilities so well.
While others encouraged Nard to overcome her fear, Eyas remained focused on his own victory.
So a win for Eyas, but perhaps not the most glorious one. What about his second match? Who did he face, and what were the conditions?
He was up against Buha, and the condition was simple: avoid getting wet, but the arena was rain-soaked, making for incredibly slippery terrain.
So Eyas had to stay dry to win. That sounds tricky even for a changeling. How did he manage it?
He used a sleep-inducing smoke bomb laced with a special sleeping agent. He had actually purchased it earlier from another competitor, Wassel.
Clever. So he essentially put Buha to sleep and then pushed him into the water.
Exactly. A cunning, if somewhat morally questionable tactic that secured Eyas his second victory.
2 wins for Eyas. It seems like he's not afraid to bend the rules a little to achieve his goals.
Yeah.
But those were some truly incredible duels. So tell me, expert speaker, who are our final 8 champions?
The dust has settled, and our champions have emerged. Hammam, Jonh, Rada, and Eyas have all secured their places, alongside 4 other incredibly skilled competitors.
That's fantastic. They fought so hard, overcoming unbelievable challenges and unexpected twists. I can only imagine the atmosphere in the arena right now. What's it like?
It's electric. The arena has been transformed into a grand celebration space with music lights and festivities galore.
Wow, I bet there's some amazing stories coming out of that celebration.
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to miss the details about Hammam trying to appease his wife after that mind control incident?
I can't even imagine. I'm dying to hear more about that and about how the other champions are celebrating their victories. But for that, dear listeners, you'll have to join us for part 2 of our deep dive into the Fas Tournament. Stay tuned.
Welcome back, deep divers. We left off with our champions, ready to celebrate those hard-fought victories. The atmosphere in the Imperial Arena is electric. They really went all out transforming it into this grand party space.
I can only imagine. Did they bring out the enchanted canapes? I'm picturing magical lights, music, all sorts of fantastical festivities.
Oh, you know this tournament. They definitely pulled out all the stops. And each of our champions embraced the celebration in their own unique way.
Speaking of unique celebrations, we can't forget about Hammam and his well-vocal wife.
Ah, yes. The most talked about moment of day 3. So how did our Orcish champion try to smooth things over? Did he present her with a bouquet of enchanted roses?
Maybe he serenaded her with a love ballad performed by a chorus of enchanted toads.
He went for something a bit more physical. He challenged his wife to a dance right there in the middle of the celebration.
No way. Hammam, the orc who prefers brute strength to fancy footwork, trying to win back his wife with his dance moves. Someone needs to capture this for posterity.
It was a sight to behold. And not just because of his size. His dancing was well enthusiastic. Let's just say the crowd roared with laughter and applause, thoroughly entertained by his efforts.
I bet. But what about his wife? Was she charmed by his awkward attempts at a waltz?
She wasn't exactly impressed with his footwork, but even she couldn't help but crack a smile at his antics. Hammam, ever the charmer, promised her a week of servitude at home to make up for his earlier blunder.
That sounds like a fair trade crisis averted for Hammam, thanks to a little groveling and some questionable dance moves. But what about Jonh? How did our strategic mastermind choose to celebrate his victory?
Actually, he was spotted deep in conversation with Agram, the leader of the book club.
Of course, a meeting of brilliant minds. What were they discussing? Were they dissecting the day's duels move by move?
They were engrossed in this lively debate about the tournament's strategic nuances. It was fascinating to watch them analyze various duels and dissect magical techniques.
That sounds like John's idea of a good time. Did anything come of their conversation? Did they challenge each other to a magical duel of wits?
As a matter of fact, yes, Agram, impressed by John's tactical brilliance, offered him a prestigious position in the book club.
Wow, that's a huge honor. He could access their vast library and learn from some of the greatest magical minds in the world. What did Jonh say? Did he jump at the opportunity?
He countered with a proposal of his own, suggesting a partnership between the book club and his own guild.
A union of knowledge and power. That's Jonh for you, always thinking long-term. It seems like his victory extended far beyond the arena. Now I'm curious about Rada. How did our youngest champion celebrate? Did he finally get to indulge in some sugary treats, considering his unique dietary restrictions?
Rada was, as you might expect, the life of the party. He started by approaching Gott and thanking him for his sportsmanship.
That was a classy move. It shows real maturity, especially after the controversy surrounding his second match. What did he do after that?
He roped Gott into a game of magical charades.
Magical charades. I can't even imagine what that would look like. Was there levitation involved? Or maybe some impromptu transfiguration?
It was as chaotic and hilarious as you might imagine. Rada was a natural, acting out various spells and creatures with flamboyant gestures and sound effects. Galt, surprisingly, was quite good at it too, especially his dramatic reenactment of the tournament battles.
They sound like quite the entertaining duo. Rada's really got a knack for bringing people together. What about Kara? Was she still feeling down after her defeat?
Well, Rada, being the kind soul that he is, noticed that Kara was sitting alone and invited her to join in the fun.
Oh, that's so sweet of him. I'm glad he didn't let her wallow in defeat. Did she accept?
With a little persuasion, yes, Rada's infectious enthusiasm was hard to resist, and soon they were both laughing and dancing, creating a genuinely heartwarming moment. It really showcased Rada's unique ability to connect with people even in the midst of competition.
I love that. It seems like Rada's true strength lies not just in his fighting abilities, but in his empathy and compassion. Okay, we can't forget about Eyas. What was our enigmatic changeling illusionist up to during the celebration? Was he practicing disappearing acts, wowing the crowd with his shape-shifting ability?
Eyas was on a mission of his own. He sought out Nard, the changeling he defeated in the first match.
Oh, interesting. I wonder what he wanted to discuss. Was he offering her a consolation prize? Perhaps a rare illusion spellbook?
It seems he felt a sense of responsibility towards Nard, recognizing her struggle with stage fright. They had a long, heartfelt conversation, and Eyas encouraged her to embrace her true self and her unique abilities.
That's incredibly thoughtful of him. I'm surprised he showed that kind of vulnerability, especially after his rather ruthless approach to victory. What was Nard's reaction?
She was deeply touched by his words. They shared a truly special moment where Nard transformed into her true form and with newfound confidence stepped onto the dance floor, earning cheers from the crowd.
Wow, what a beautiful moment of transformation. It seems like Eyas, despite his ambition, does have a softer side.
He's a complex character, that's for sure, but this encounter with Nard suggests that he's capable of empathy and growth.
So, all our heroes had their own unique ways of celebrating. But the festivities weren't just limited to them, were they? Were there any other notable moments from the celebration?
Absolutely. Namafabas, the enchanting singer we mentioned earlier, was the heart and soul of the celebration. Her voice filled the arena with these magical melodies that united everyone in a shared sense of joy and wonder.
I bet her performance was magical. Was it a new composition created just for the occasion?
It was breathtaking. But what was even more remarkable was her humility. After her performance, she stepped off the stage and mingled with the champions, offering personalized words of encouragement and insight to each of them.
That's so inspiring. It seems like she's not just a performer, but a true mentor and guide.
She's a beloved figure in this world, and her presence at the tournament added this layer of depth and meaning to the celebration.
Now tell me, were there any friendly rivalries brewing amidst the festivities? Did anyone challenge each other to a friendly arm wrestling match or a magical riddle contest?
Mesa, never one to back down from a challenge, found herself in a heated drinking contest with the Kel Tambori Moran and Reza Takir.
Wow, that's a lineup. I can only imagine the chaos. What were they drinking, and what were the stakes?
They were downing this potent magical concoction rumored to enhance both strength and wit. The grand prize, bragging rights of course, and a mysterious elixir from Gaut's personal collection.
That sounds like a prize worth fighting for.
Ah.
How did it go down? Were there any spills, tricks, or sudden bursts of magical energy?
It was a close competition full of dramatic twists and turns. Reza, known for his composure and elegance, started strong but couldn't keep up with the relentless pace. The Kel, with his massive size, initially had an advantage, but his clumsiness led to some unfortunate spills, much to the amusement of the crowd. And Moran, the cunning half-goblin, tried to use his tricks, subtly discarding some of his drinks when no one was looking.
Sneaky. But I bet Mesa caught him red-handed.
Oh, she did. She called him out on it right away, earning cheers from the onlookers.
No cheating allowed. So who emerged victorious? Did Mesa, the ultimate warrior, conquer this challenge as well?
In the end, Mesa triumphed, downing the final drink with a flourish and letting out this triumphant roar that echoed throughout the arena.
That's our Mesa, always up for a challenge and always ready to claim victory. What about the others? How did they handle the defeat? Did they sulk in a corner, or did they join in the fun?
Mesa, in her usual boisterous fashion, patted Reza on the back, playfully calling him noble but soft before engaging in a mock wrestling match with the Kel. Much to everyone's delight, Maranef, the schemer, was already plotting his revenge for the next drinking contest.
Sounds like a typical night out for our champions. What about Goat? Was he just handing out prizes, or did he join in the festivities?
Goat, being Goat, was busy entertaining a group of spectators with his peculiar inventions.
Of course he was. What did he come up with this time? A self-cleaning cauldron? Perhaps a pocket-sized portal to a realm of endless snacks?
He showcased a self-replicating toast launcher, a miniature storm in a bottle, and a device that translated animal sounds into rhyming couplets.
Only code. He's truly one of a kind. I bet those inventions were a hit. Did anyone else join him?
He later joined Rada for another round of magical charades. His impersonations of the tournament battles left the audience in stitches.
It sounds like the celebration was a perfect blend of laughter, camaraderie, and magical shenanigans. What about the other notable figures from the tournament? Did we see any familiar faces from the Shadow Club?
Thekil, after his defeat in the drinking contest, shifted his attention to the food devouring an entire roast boar while regaling anyone who would listen with highly exaggerated tales of his tournament exploits. Kara, who had initially been hesitant to join the celebration, eventually let go of her reservations thanks to Rada's encouragement. She even challenged Jonh to a game of magical chess, although the outcome of that match remains a mystery.
Intriguing. It seems everyone found their own way to enjoy the night.
Even Anglis, the enigmatic leader of the Shadow Club, made an appearance observing the festivities from a distance, a sly smile playing on her lips as her magical black cat weaved through the crowd collecting whispers and secrets.
Always the mysterious one. I'm starting to think she enjoys being shrouded in shadows. It sounds like the celebration was a fitting tribute to the tournament's spirit camaraderie competition and, of course, a generous dose of magic.
It was a night to remember, filled with laughter, joy, and the forging of new bonds. As the night drew to a close, Nam Afmabas took to the stage once more, her final song echoing through the arena, marking the end of the Fas Tournament. But for our champions, this was just the beginning.
Their stories are far from overfound. Expert speaker, you've painted such a vivid picture of the celebrations. I feel like I was right there in the middle of the action. Thank you for sharing these incredible moments with us.
It was my pleasure, but our deep dive isn't quite finished. We still need to explore what lies ahead for our champions, the adventures that await them beyond the arena.
You've got me hooked. Listeners, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the final part of our deep dive into the Fas Tournament. We'll delve into the future of our heroes and explore what their victories mean for the world they inhabit. All right, deep divers, are you ready to explore what lies beyond the arena for our champions?
Their victories have far-reaching implications, shaping not just their own destinies, but potentially the fate of the entire world.
Where do we even begin to unravel those threads?
Well, let's start with Hammam. His unconventional tactics and unexpected resilience have made him a force to be reckoned with.
You know, it's easy to dismiss him as a simple brute, especially in a world where magical prowess is so highly valued.
Right, but Hammam has shown us that there's more to him than meets the eye. His victory achieved, despite a few marital hiccups, proves that strength and cleverness can be a pretty potent combination.
It challenges our assumptions about what it means to be a powerful magician. I have a feeling we haven't seen the last of Hammam's unconventional brilliance.
And then there's Jonh. His strategic mind was on full display throughout the tournament. His victories solidified his reputation as a tactical genius.
The offer from the book club and the potential partnership with his guild open up a world of possibilities. What do you think his future holds?
He could become a powerful leader, shaping the future of magical knowledge and its application. Or perhaps he'll choose a path of scholarly pursuits, delving deeper into the mysteries of magic.
Either way, his victory has positioned him as a key player in the world of magic. His strategic mind and thirst for knowledge could lead to groundbreaking discoveries or even shift the balance of power.
No, Rada. His story is truly inspiring.
He's overcome so much, showcasing incredible resilience, a remarkable capacity for growth.
He's shown us that even in the face of adversity and loss, the human spirit can triumph. His infectious enthusiasm and empathy have touched the hearts of both his competitors and the audience.
He's a natural leader, someone who inspires others to be their best selves. I wonder if his future holds a leadership position, perhaps uniting different factions or mediating conflicts.
His victory suggests a future where compassion and understanding play a key role in shaping the world.
And finally, we have Eyas, the enigmatic changeling illusionist.
His victories achieved through cunning and a willingness to push boundaries raise questions about the nature of ambition and the choices we make in pursuit of our dreams.
He's a master of illusion, capable of blending in and manipulating perceptions. But who is the real Eyas beneath the masks and illusions?
His journey raises questions about identity, morality, and the pursuit of power. Will he use his abilities for good, or will his ambition lead him down a darker path? One
One thing's for sure, Eyas' story is far from over. He's got some soul-searching to do, but I have a feeling he'll find his own unique path, even if it's a bit unconventional.
The Fas Tournament has been a microcosm of the world itself. A stage where the complexities of human nature, ambition, and the pursuit of excellence have played out in a dazzling display of magic and skill.
These four heroes, each with their own strengths and flaws, remind us that victory is not always straightforward.
True growth comes from embracing challenges, learning from setbacks, and forging connections with those around us.
They've shown us that there's always room for a little bit of magic, both in the literal and metaphorical sense. The world needs heroes like Hammam, Jonh, Rada, and yes, even Eyas.
As we conclude our deep dive, I encourage you to consider which hero's journey resonated with you the most. What lessons did you learn from their victories and their struggles?
And most importantly, what does their future hold? What paths will they choose, and how will their choices shape the world around them? The possibilities are as vast and unpredictable as the magic that flows through this world.
Remember, dear listeners, the tournament might be over, but the adventure is just beginning.
If you've enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to subscribe to the Deep Dive on YouTube and Spotify for more fascinating explorations into worlds both real and imagined.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.